Oi, welcome back to the channel. Today we're out on the MT-125 2017 model. I'm going to take you through everything I know about it so far. So you've got hydraulic single disc brakes, one on the rear there, and one on the front. Obviously you've got your dual shocks on the front and you've got a mono shock to the rear. Your seat height, that's coming in at 38 inches, so it's not too big really. Nice and comfortable if you're like sort of average size rider. Full digital display there. So you've got your fuel readings, your odometer, your speed, and your neutral light there. It doesn't actually show you what gear you're in though. As soon as you're out of gear, that neutral will go and you won't get any indication what you're in. So as you can see there, you've got your push to start button, all your usual stuff, kill switch, indicators, horn, high beams, low beams, everything where you'd expect it to be. So the bike weighs in at 138 kilos. You do not notice that when you're riding it at all. It's genuinely as light as a feather. You can expect to pick these up for around 3,000 to 3,500 used, or 4,799 new. So this is the 2017/18 model. So the colour of this one, the yellow one, is unique to that. Yeah, you won't find it. Well, you won't be able to get a new one like that. Obviously, there is a huge variation of different colours available now. As you can see there, LED lights on the front, so you haven't got to worry about being blinded at night and not being able to see anything. Alright, add a little walk around. Let's go take it for a spin. So the MT-125 then is pushing out 15 brake horsepower. Obviously it's not the quickest of bikes, but for a 125 it's quite nippy. Obviously I've only ridden 3 125s in my time, one being a standard YBR, the other being a YBR Custom, and the third one being this. And this is noticeably quicker than both the YBR and the YBR Custom. So it's got a 6-speed gearbox. As I said in the walk around, you can't tell what gear you're in, but obviously the more you ride, you don't really need to know that anyway. It's quite a nice little comfy ride around the corners. I'm quite a heavy rider, so it probably is going to slow this bike down a little bit. But we'll see, won't we? So again, I'm 6 foot, just short of 6'3", and I don't actually feel too cramped on this bike. It feels nice. Nice little leg position there. Like I said, I'm not too hunched over. My legs aren't cramped up too much. It probably would get to me after a couple of hours, but at the moment it seems quite nice. They say the top speed on this thing is 87 miles per hour. I'm not entirely sure I believe that. I'm not going to try it, but that's what it's advertised as, but I'm not so sure. It has scored a user reliability rating of 4.4 on Motorcycle News, so I'm guessing there's not too many issues with it. Going back to the engine, it is a liquid cooled engine. It's got a 1.15 litre capacity, like oil capacity as well, so you're not going to be spending loads on the oil keeping it topped up and maintained. They say that the annual servicing cost of this thing is around £80, and it's 25 quid a year to tax. So the running costs are cheap, and the maintenance is cheap. 80 quid a year for your servicing, probably looking at, I don't know, depending on how many miles you're putting into it, you're not going to be changing your oil overly often, but even if you do, it's not going to be costing you loads just for a litre of oil here and there, and obviously 25 quid for the tax for the year. So it's quite cheap to run. What I'll do is I'll just head into, there's a little car park up here, I'll just head into here and I'll see what it's like with some slow manoeuvres. Right, let's see what the turning circle's like on this thing. Oh yeah, it's quite a nice little turning circle. Yeah, it's really easy to manoeuvre at nice slow speeds. You could definitely do some decent filtering with this and not have to worry about pinging into people. It's quite agile at slow speeds, decent. Right, we'll get back out on the road. Oh, that's got a nice little bit of acceleration. I'll tell you what, for a 125, it can shift. That's a decent little bit of acceleration. It's a bit of a cool little bike. But yeah, it just wants to be thrown around. It's incredibly agile. Really, really agile. That is decent. That. The seat seems quite comfortable. Like I said before, I'm a taller, heavier rider, but that seat seems really comfortable actually. You can definitely do some miles on that. I think the big bulky air things on the side, I don't think they're actually like an air intake. I think they're just for aesthetics. I don't think they really do anything. But it does make it look like a bigger bike though. Right, let's see how this fares up this time, do we? Yeah, well, it does it feels like it wants to go. It's quite cool, that. See if we can throw it around this corner, see what the handling's like. It's not the tightest of corners, but it's something. Oh my god, it wants to go, doesn't it? Right, okay, so I've noticed there with the gears, to really get the most out of 6th gear, you really need to be going some before you hit up into 6th. If you hit to 6th too early, it seems to want to slow down. So, I don't know what that's about, but just be mindful. Go into 6th when you're really moving, otherwise it does seem to want to slow down. Again, I don't know if it's because I'm a heavy guy or I don't know, but yeah, definitely get it up, get the revs up and the speed up before you bang it into 6th. There's a couple of times I've noticed it's drop speed putting it into 6th and it really sort of struggled getting around 60. Other than that though, gears seem good, nice smooth transitions. It is starting to scream at me a little bit there, getting up towards the 70s, but it is a 125, so you're kind of expecting it. Again there, the amount it's screaming me there when I was doing 70, them saying it's going to go up to 87, it's just another thing that makes me think, maybe that's not 100% true. But, like I said, I'm not going to test it. If anyone else tested it, then let me know. I've heard people saying they're capable of it, but I get a little bit, I don't know, I just question people that say they do it over 80 on a 125. But I'm sure it is possible. No, this is a fun little bike though, nice comfy. The seating position is not too aggressive, but it's also not too laid back. It has got a slightly sporty feel. I am leant forward a fair bit. I'm leant forward more on this than I am on my Suzuki SV650. So it's got a bit more of an aggressive stance than it does a normal naked, but I suppose these are sort of marketed as hyper naked, aren't they? So I guess they are trying to make it a little bit more aggressive. But no, it feels nice, even though it is slightly more leaning forward. Oh yeah, this is decent on corners, this. Ate that up easily. The suspension it's a little bit rough. Going over some bumps there, you feel it. It's not the softest suspension, but it's not the worst. But it's quite tough. You will feel it hitting bumps and that, especially at speed. But no, it's a nippy little bike. I've noticed the brakes aren't overly great. The single hydraulic brakes there aren't overly responsive. I mean, I'm not squeezing them mega hard, but I've definitely found better. To be honest, I found the brakes on the YBR Custom a little bit more responsive than on this Yamaha MT-125, which is shocking really, because I thought these probably would be a little bit more responsive, being that it's a more powerful, more nippier, meant to be ridden a bit more quicker than the YBR Custom. But here we go. Yeah, that can move. So the fuel tank, It's got 11.5 litre fuel tank. They say it's 138 miles per gallon, which then works out, I think it's a 380 miles per tank, obviously if you're riding sensibly. So a range of 380 miles, which seems quite good to me. I'm sure that's more than the other two 125s I've ridden. Yeah, it's down to you to research however much that's going to cost to put 11.5 litres of petrol into your tank. Obviously it's going to change wherever you are, some places more expensive, some cheaper, but that seems reasonable for me. 11.5 litres, 380 miles, sounds good. I think if you were to take this on a motorway, I don't know, I don't think I would. I think it may struggle a bit, because it does scream a bit at high ends. I think long-term commuting on like A roads and stuff, you probably get away with it. However, I don't think I'd be quick to be taking it on motorways and stuff. But, oh my god, yeah, that suspension needs working on. I hit a bit of a pothole then, and I felt like the front wheel was going to come off. So yeah, I think if you could look past the really, really tough suspension, it's a nice bike. Nice, nippy, fun bike. For a 125, it is surprisingly quick. But again, I've only ridden the two. I've never ridden anything really high-end 125 wise. Obviously the mirrors we've got on here, these do not come stock. These are things that Jess has put on. I say Jess put them on, I put them on, but yeah, these are aftermarket mirrors, so don't panic thinking you're going to not be able to see anything out your bar end mirrors. That's something that we've put on here. But I think overall, fun little bike. As a beginner, you could definitely jump on one of these, and I think this would prep you for your big test. It is a little bit more nippy than your average 125, I guess. If you have got any questions about anything that I may have missed, just drop it in the comments and I'll get back to you. I am fairly confident I'll be able to answer it, just in case I have missed anything, which I probably have, but here we go. But yeah, fun little bike. But anyway, I'll leave it there. Cheers for watching, as usual. Stay low, move fast, keep it upright, and I'll catch you in the next one.